Hey guys, it's Gabe from the Kids in the Pit podcast. Time for episode 2. Today I'm chatting with Mean Pete from Remembering Never, Ether Coven, and one of my mom's favorite straight edge bands, Until the End. Pete, I'm Gabe. I'm 10 years old and just getting into punk and hardcore bands. Mind if I ask you some questions about your life and music?
I would love that, but it's weird that you introduced me. You just introduced yourself because we've known each other for your entire life, basically.
Yeah. So where do you currently live and what is it like?
I currently live in Atlanta, and it is very nice. The weather's cool most of the time, way better than South Florida, where just outside in South Florida just feels like a mouth. Atlanta gets cold. It snows a couple days a year. It's got some culture. It's got trees. It's got hills. It's not super cold like Pennsylvania, or even where you live. So yeah, it's pretty solid. I like it a lot.
That sounds cool. We go to Florida once a year to go to Disney World. My dad said we randomly ran into you once in line for Tower of Terror, so I guess we have met before.
I've slept at your house 1 million times.
Oh.
Yeah, this guy. That sounds creepy to say with a kid, but like
yeah, kind of.
Your parents, those are different. You know what I mean? But like, yes, we've slept in under the same roof.
I know.
Probably a dozen times.
So what bands are you in or have you been in? And what do you do in them?
God damn, we don't got time for all that. My first real band kind of was Remembering Never. I started out playing guitar and then I started singing when our singer quit. Then I was in a band called Until the End, where I sang. I was half of the singing duo. And then the other singer quit and then I was solo. Then I started a band called Bishop and I sang in that. And then I have a band right now called Ether Coven. And I started a new band here, and there's nothing really to talk about just yet because it's too new. But yeah, so that's kind of my brief resume.
Oh, for anyone who hasn't heard any of your bands, what record do you most suggest checking out? I know one Remembering Never album has a bit of an offensive title, so could you just say a song name if that's one you suggest?
Good question. I don't know. I mean, they all sound so different. It kind of depends on what you're into. So, I mean, obviously everybody wants to gas up their new stuff. So I would say Ether Coven just released a new single. It's called Stalin of Cancer. That's the one to listen to. It's great. I like it. I think it's pretty solid.
So what was the first band that got you into punk, hardcore, or metal music?
Too many. Probably Judas Priest for metal. When I was younger than you, I have older sisters that are like 10 years older than me, and they used to babysit me, and their boyfriends were big metalheads. So I was exposed to like Judas Priest and like Iron Maiden and like Motley Crue and Metallica like super early. I was like 6, probably 7. So that got me like on that path, and like punk music, it was probably Sick of It All because I think they were kind of breaking out a little more, not mainstream, but they were definitely getting some crossover on like MTV and stuff. So that was probably the first hardcore band I got into. I think it was a Scratch the Surface video, with like all the mosh moves and stuff. Pretty wild. But yeah, I think that was kind of the gateway.
So what was your first concert and how old were you?
Oh, it was Typo Negative and Pantera, and I was in 7th grade. And it blew my mind. I accidentally wore a Pantera shirt to the show because I wore the shirt that day to school, but which is like a super no-no. So, but either way, it was like, where do you go from there? You know what I mean? Like, you can't go it doesn't get any better than that. So, but yeah, that was my first concert.
Yeah. What is your favorite location you have toured in and why?
Shit, probably Japan, all over, just because when you can find great vegan food, it's wonderful. But also they have like the best records. There's a record store called Disc Union. It's like kind of a chain. and they just have like the craziest stuff for the cheapest prices. Also, Nerds Records is great. Yeah, probably, and everything just looks much different than it does here. So it's like leaving a world that you very much know to a place that is much less familiar. And I really enjoyed that concept.
Yeah, Japan is cool. So, what is the best and worst part about being on tour, in your opinion?
The best part is, I mean, the 30 minutes that you get to play every day. Seeing there's a bunch of like very great pros, like seeing friends you haven't seen in a million years, checking out new vegan spots, record stores. Like, this is all my favorite stuff. But the worst part is probably like spending a whole long time setting a thing up, like a tour, and then showing up and having a show that's like a bust. But aside from like the major things that could go wrong, but just generally speaking, when you show up to a show and it's not very well promoted, which means it's not very well attended, and it's just like, okay, well, I set aside this chunk of time of my life for this. Like, what are we doing here? So that's kind of a bummer. Also, vegan restaurant hours, also the worst, because they like to be closed on Monday, Tuesday, half of Wednesday. They're open for 4 hours on a Thursday, 5 hours on a Friday, open half the day on Saturday, closed most of Sunday. And then it's just like, why do you exist? Stop this. Yeah.
So, why do people call you Mean Pete? You seem really nice to me.
I mean, it's fine. It was just a nickname that I got. I was in a band, the band Until the End, and everybody was in other bands that were cool at the time. It was like 2 dudes from Poison the Well, 1 dude from Morning Again, a dude from this band Keepsake that was pretty big in South Florida, and actually Brendan, who wasn't really in a big band, he was in a band called 200 North, and he went in to play guitar for Circus Survive now. So, but everybody knew all these people, and I was like kind of the new guy. So the guitar player was like, "Oh, we need to come up with a name for you because no one knows who you are." "Oh, Mean Pete, that's the one." And that was it. That's the story.
Okay.
And he has that voice. So, pretty solid. Anybody that was up?
On to some random weird questions that have absolutely nothing to do with music. What is your favorite movie of all time?
It's a toss-up between Harlem Nights, with the craziest cast in the world. Came out before you even thought of being born. It's got Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, Arsenio Hall, and a bunch of other people.
I know none of those
Richard
people.
Pryor. Yeah, you know Richard Pryor? No, probably not. Beetlejuice is probably like a hot second.
I know Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is great. I used to watch that movie almost every day.
Oh.
Yeah, those two.
So if you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? I think my mom mentioned you were vegan. Is that hard to do? And why do you choose to be?
Wait, that's 3 different questions, bro. So favorite food or food I eat every day? Variety's the spice of life. You know what I mean? I really like peaches now that I live in Atlanta. I like nectarines better because it doesn't have that weird gross stuff on the outside. But probably like a generic answer like pizza, because like no matter what, even bad pizzas, like pretty solid pizza. So like probably pizza. Vegan, of course. Yes, I am vegan. Why am I vegan? It's because animal welfare. I don't want to be a part of something suffering, or at least the least amount of suffering I can cause. Is why I'm vegan.
So tell me about your favorite childhood memory.
Oh, wow. Probably skipping church and listening to CDs on a portable CD player. I don't really have a lot of great memories, but I do remember, like, music has always been like a huge part of my life, and it was always kind of like my escape from the real world that I didn't really understand, that I didn't really feel like a part of. So I just remember going to the park at church while my family was in church and listening to like Corrosion of Conformity and Type O Negative and all these bands that were pretty big for like my formative years, and just spending 50 minutes just on a slide or hanging out wherever at this park, and just vibing out to songs that eventually were like hugely influential in my musical whatever.
Nice. If you could go back and give your 10-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
That's a really good question. Start playing guitar earlier and don't stop, probably. And don't be scared to just kind of do whatever feels right.
I actually play guitar.
Nice. Very nice. What kind of guitar do you have?
I don't know what it is, but this.
Nice. Getting some real rocker hours in here. Hell yeah. Nice. Very cool.
Yes.
Let's start. When in about 10 years, you're going to be like, I can't believe I played this guitar. And you're going to be on to like much cooler guitars. However, this is great for what you got and what you're working with right now. So
I know this strap is completely on wrong, except if I do this, I just like it is so like loose because I have a small neck because I'm a child.
Is that why?
Yeah, that's why I do it like this.
Yeah. Nice. What songs do you know how to play already?
I know American Jesus by Bad Religion. I'm Your Opposite Number by what are they called? Strike Anywhere. Oh yeah, I know how to play some like kind of some Sick of It All songs.
Nice.
I really like playing Take the Night Off because it just like it has fun guitar parts.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's a start. That's good. The first songs I learned were like, I played bass and it was like Type O Negative and Iron Maiden and probably like Black Sabbath, stuff like that. But it was on bass, so it was like, I guess it's an instrument.
Oh, so anything you'd like to add before we wrap things up today?
No, I think this is good. I mean, luckily your mom is kind of like a popular person, so right out the gate you had Eddie Leeway. Like what? Like just like snapped off hard. You don't understand like how much of an important situation this is when you're older. And I mean, depending on how long you do this for, you're gonna have some younger cats on here, and in 10 years you're gonna be like, I can't even believe I had such and such from such and such on my podcast as a child. So keep it up. It's gonna be I think it could be a cool thing. I'm excited for you.
Thanks for talking to me, and I hope to run into you in real life soon, maybe at Disney World.
Possibly. I'll probably see you at your house.
Okay.
Which also sounds creepy, but also like that's the reality of the situation.
Thanks everyone for tuning into Kids in the Pit podcast, episode 2. And thanks again to Mean Pete, but I'm going to call him Nice Pete from now on. See you guys.
Perfect.